Hey everyone, I'm Ronnie Woo and this is Cooking for You and Me. Today I'm going to show you guys how to easily roast a chicken while keeping the meat juicy, tender, and full of flavor. So stay tuned. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is take one stick of room temperature butter. You want it to be soft so you're able to add all the spices and the dry ingredients in there. So we have our butter in the mixing bowl. The next thing we're going to do is add our dry ingredients. There's just 4 dry ingredients. We want to take 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon of mustard powder, and 2 teaspoons of onion powder. So now we have our dry ingredients in there. We want to take half a head of garlic and mince it up. I have my handy dandy garlic mincer, or you can chop it and turn it into a paste. So now that we have our garlic minced there, we just want to take a fork and combine everything to sort of create this buttery paste. Alrighty, so now it's time to add the herbs. We can either add fresh herbs or dry herbs. Today I'm going to use fresh herbs just because the weather's been nice and there's a lot of fresh herbs everywhere. I mean, not from the street, but I mean at the grocery store and stuff. And so I've just had a lot in my refrigerator, so I'm going to use it up today. But you know, if you're in a pinch, you can totally use dried herbs and it tastes just as good. So today I'm going to use oregano, parsley, and thyme. So I have my fresh herbs here, parsley, my oregano and thyme. I have my rosemary sitting here, but the rosemary is not going to be chopped. It's going to be put on top of the chicken as full sprigs when it's roasting. So as far as your parsley, your thyme, and oregano goes, you want to have about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of chopped herbs. So you probably have a huge bunch of parsley. Don't worry about it. We're not going to waste it. It's going to go underneath the chicken right before it goes in the oven, so it's going to give it that extra flavor. So as for the thyme, you just want to pick off the leaves and then dice those leaves up just a little bit. Alrighty, so we have our herbs chopped up here. We just want to add it to the butter mixture. And just mix it up, give it a nice swirl. So we have our herbs in the butter. The last thing we want to do before putting it on our chicken is putting the lemon juice in this butter mixture. So you just want to take your lemon and roll it out, get some of that juices out, cut it in half. I like to do it cut side up because I don't want the seeds to get into the butter mixture. So you just want to mix that up. The next thing you want to do is take your baking dish and line it with tin foil. Makes for a super easy cleanup. Next, take your onion and just really roughly chop it. Then you want to take some of the parsley that you had from before. You just want to take probably maybe 1/3 of the bunch and just place it in there on top of your onions. If you want to, feel free to break it up. So once you have the parsley lined up, we want to take our whole chicken now and place it right on top of it. So I have my whole chicken here. It's about 4 pounds. You can use anywhere from a 3-pound chicken to a 5-pound chicken. It's just the cooking time that's going to vary. Alrighty, so a lot of times your whole chicken comes with guts in a bag inside the cavity. You just want to take that out and I like to keep it. I don't like to waste it. And I just like to sort of put it in the corner of my baking dish. You can toss it if you want to, but I like to keep it and just use it as more flavor. So the next thing you want to do is just transfer your chicken. So now that we have our chicken transferred into the baking dish, we want to take our hands and slide it in between the skin and the meat. We want to loosen that up because that's where we're going to put our butter rub slash marinade in there to get all those flavors really massaged into the meat so it can just be super moist and delicious. So just as a reminder, if you haven't done so already, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. So once we've loosened up the skin and the meat, the next thing we want to do is tie the legs together with butcher's twine. This is going to help really prop up those legs to help the chicken cook evenly and to keep everything moist. So you want to take butcher's twine and you want about 3 feet of it, and then I'm going to show you how to tie the legs together. It's really, really easy. Alright, so this is how it works. You just want to divide your string in half. Then you want to pinch about 2 to 3 inches from the top, put your pointer finger and your thumb through the loop and bring it over. And then what you want to do is catch the drumsticks in between those 2 loops that you just made. Then you want to just loop it back around the drumsticks, bring it down around the breast, and just tie it off in the front of the breast. So now that we have our chicken tied, we want to take the rub and massage it all over the chicken, underneath the skin, and put some in the cavity as well.
What you gon' do? Once I throw on this bout, you go wow wow, what you gonna say? You act like you gon' leave, but I know that you gon' stay. Break it down, dig it down, down, girl, don't even play. Once I set the mood right, I'ma make it sound like.
What, don't you do that? So now that we've massaged all that butter rub into the chicken, underneath the skin, and into the meat, we're ready to do the last finishing touches before we put it in the oven. I want to take some honey and just drizzle it all over, maybe about 1/8 to 1/4 of a cup of honey. Next, I want to take my rosemary sprigs and just sort of strategically place them around the chicken, in the chicken. I want to take a couple sprigs and put them in between the legs. Just slide them right in there. Then I like to take a few sprigs and put them inside the cavity. Lastly, I like to take a couple more and just place them right in between the wings. So the last thing you want to do before putting the chicken in the oven is covering it with tinfoil very lightly. This is going to help prevent the skin from burning because we are cooking it at 400 degrees. In the last 5 minutes of cooking it in the oven, we're going to switch the oven to broil, and then we're going to crisp the skin that way, and it's going to come out golden brown and delicious. Alrighty, so our chicken is ready to go in the oven at 400 degrees for about 75 minutes. In the last 5 minutes, I'm going to switch the oven to broil and then crisp the skin. I'll see you guys when it's done. So I took my chicken out about 15 minutes ago. It's just been resting. Now I'm just going to cut a little piece out just to give it a try. That is some of the best chicken you will have ever made. I promise you. You guys have got to try this recipe. And remember, when all the meat is gone and you just have the chicken carcass, put it in a pot, fill it up with water till it's covered, boil it until it's reduced to half, and you'll have an awesome chicken stock for soup bases or even to make risotto out of it. I'll see you guys next time on Cooking for You and Me with Ronnie Woo.
That's why we make a good you and me.
We want food.